You don't have discipline, but the only way you can forge that discipline is by using these fucking rules. Okay. What rules are they? You have to know where you're aiming for. Because if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. And for some of you, that went right over your head. But you have to have a target. You have to have a target in mind where you're aiming for with price. What is it reaching for? If you can't ascertain that by looking at a chart, you have absolutely no business pushing a button where you incur risk, even if it's demo, because the outcome is going to be detrimental to your development, because you're going to be feeding yourself toxic results that were rooted on no real rhyme or reason or model. But you're going to take it as a kick in the ass. You're going to take it as failure. You're not getting what you want, a dopamine hit. So you're treating it like an ex-girlfriend or an ex-boyfriend that were toxic and they just keep calling you and you don't want nothing to do with them. That's eventually what you'll treat business with relationships. That way you'll have that same thing towards the markets and trading, which is the reason why I talk to you this way. I use analogies so that way you can draw parallels to something that, oh, I understand what that feels like. I don't want that to feel like that when I'm trading. Don't do the shit you're doing. Do the things I'm telling you to do and avoid the things I tell you to avoid. But here's my son. He's wanting to go out there and show me it's just like video games, and he's going to be, Mr. I am having a senior moment. I can't remember that. Fortnite. Yeah, he's really, really good at Fortnite, and he's really, really good at Call of Duty. Like, he's fucking badass. Like, he's kicks my ass. He's really, really good, and it's amazing. He thought that was going to be the same thing for him when he got into this. He has that tenacious, like, I'm going to do it, Dad. And if it's hard, I'm going to be that much more inspired to do it. But then when he got his ass beat trying to do the combines and failed the 7 times or so that he did it, I watched him. He was sulking. He's just like, you could see it in his face. He wasn't walking around with his shoulders back like he always was. He's, the typical 18-year-old boy, right? That knows everything. And I told him, I said, look, here's the rules. You have to aim for an hourly or a 15-minute high. Which one's you going to reach for? The obvious one that it's trying to get to. That's all you need. That's all you need, man. That's all you need. And then when you know that, you drop down to a 1 or 5 minute chart and you wait for a 1 or 5 minute stop hunt that's against that draw on liquidity. So if you're thinking it's going to go up, you wait for a swing low to be taken out on a 1 or 5 minute chart. As soon as it does that on that time frame, you have to wait for, if it's a swing low that it takes out, you have to wait for an up close candle to form immediately after that swing low is taken out. As soon as that happens, then immediately you drop down to a 30-second chart and you buy the first fair value gap. That's easy shit, man. That's easy. There's simple parameters to that. It's based on the market's going to gravitate to that higher time frame draw. You just had a stop hunt on a lower time frame. So there should be what? A displacement going towards the next opposing liquidity that's higher time frame than the one you're entering on, which is 30 seconds, right? Let's drop my laptop here. Hold on 1 second. I only have one laptop, by the way. These fucking people talking about I got all these laptops. I got one. All right, so the model had rules. You have to do this, do this, do this, and once you have it, whatever your winning trade is, whatever it is, you eat it, you take it home, and that's what it is. Do not re-enter. Well, what is he lacking? Discipline. How does he forge it? Doing it. Doing it and then not doing it and failing and getting the repercussions of it. Okay? That's progress. What happens if he takes a losing trade? He stops. But what if he sees another setup? He can't take it. What does he lack? Discipline. So when he tries to do a second trade and he makes money on it, what does he hear from me? Why are you doing that? But Dad, look at what I mean. Why did you not listen? The whole point of this is for you to forge what? Discipline, following a model, because that will yield you the results. You coloring outside the lines is not you following the rules. The wins that you make outside of your model are not to be celebrated. That's you cheating on your wife and getting away with it. That doesn't mean keep doing it. or it's good because her feelings didn't get hurt, or vice versa. I'm giving you an extreme that maybe it doesn't fit you in a sense of an analogy, but in my mind, you are cheating on the model. You're not giving it time, energy, focus that it requires, that it deserves. I took the time to sit down and write this model up, gave him the rule-based ideas that he has to follow. Any deviations outside of that, if it's a win, I don't give a fuck about that win. That doesn't matter. That is a losing trade to me. It doesn't mean shit to me. How can you measure that? That's not part of the equation here. It's outside of the logic. So you can't champion it. You can't give it its props and say, yeah, look at this. Who gives a shit about that? And that's what some of you might be doing in your early stages of your progress. You're doing things outside of a model. And when you win, it's gain, it's profit. I feel good. Yeah, woo, this is what I want to do. And to make it feel better, because even though I know I feel a little guilty about it because I didn't really know what the hell I was doing and it worked for me, I'm going to share it on social media. Because if I get some likes, that dopamine hit will overcompensate for the fucking things I'm feeling that are rooted in guilt and reality, that it wasn't really rooted on any logic or model. It just happened to work out that time. So the facts are, my son beat the statistics. He went out there and not only did he get on the other side of those 7 losing attempts to try to get a funded account, he went out there and got 3 of them all at one time. He used all 3 of them at the same time and then passed them all. Then told me, he said, I want to use one of them and just try to see if I can do what you're saying. Ultimately, he showed progress. He had days where he did what he was supposed to do, but didn't do it all the time. And eventually it caught up with him. And on Friday, he burned the last $800. And his logic was, I don't care because I'm going to start a new one. And I didn't do what I was supposed to do with this one. So I got 2 payouts. I took something from it, an experience, and I got paid. So I look at it as it's a win-win for me, Dad. I'm like, well, I guess that's a good way of looking at it. But if you don't take what you learned from this one, it's going to repeat itself in the second one and the third one. And then if you blow them, guess what you have to do? You have to start a new one or do something else. So what's your plan? Because I want to trade with 1 micro contract like you were telling me to do in the beginning. I wish I would have listened to that, but another way, I like the fact that I did what I did because I made $1,540. I got 2 payouts and I did it all in 1 month. And for me, it feels great. And I'm like, I'm proud of you. In that regard, I'm proud. I'm proud that you now are inspired to do it. So the facts are, he has now been bitten legitimately. He'll never not trade now. he'll never not want to do this. And that's what I want. I want all my kids to have that. Now, is $1,540 a lot of money? Fuck no, it's not a lot of money. Literally, it's not. I spent more than that at Target last night buying shit that my wife doesn't need. So the point is, the $1,540 is literally nothing. But from my perspective as his dad, I see him doing something that I want all my kids to do. What I've spent my entire life in pursuit and perfecting, he did it. He canceled all the bullshit that people say that this stuff doesn't work. That you have to have an overcomplicated approach that doesn't have any statistical probability, and you lose money trading on ICT smart money concepts. My 18-year-old son went out there and literally on his own effort did everything. His own money from his coffee shop job went down to negative balance, paying for him in between his paychecks. I did not give him any money. I would not pay him for it. And Michael from Stop Step or Top Step, if you were listening, it's not a knock against you. It would have been any other company. I would not give him money to do that. I would love for him to prove for at least 6 months that he's consistently profitable using a demo account. I would have put $50,000 in an account. Real money. I would have done it. No problem. Not even batting an eye, worrying about it. That's the route I was going to go. But he had to prove to me. But he wants to go out there and do prove it to the world type shit. Vigilante uh, mentor son. Okay, I mean, he's got it in his head he wants to do that kind of stuff, which is, I guess, if that's what you need for motivation, whatever. But now he's motivated by something else. So the facts are, he doesn't want to worry about what other people think anymore. He wants to get better at what he's doing. He goes, now that I know I can do this and I can see where I messed up, in the days that I went back in when I had already made money, like for instance, he had 13 days of consistently winning. He had it up $180 that day. He said, I just wanted to get it to 200. That's all I wanted to do is just to bump it to 200. $20, Dad. I was like, I'm not laughing at you, son, to make fun of you, but I can't tell you how many times over my career when I was trying to just get to that target for the day, and then Murphy's Law comes in. Whatever can happen wrong, it will. Okay, that's exactly what happens. And that small, little, tiny $20 target turns you into a losing day. And if you're weak, if you're not disciplined, that losing trade and that losing day turns into a blown account. And that's exactly what he did. He went to a max loss day, over $20. Son, that is not failure. That's what everybody goes through. That's part of it. That's a growing pain. Every trader, every single fucking trader, male, woman, child, whatever, is human. They're going to do things that they know they're not supposed to do. Okay? As a trader, we know we shouldn't push the envelope. And we know, and he knew at the same time because he admitted it. He goes, I knew it's not a big deal, but I just wanted to get there. I wanted to get that $200 mark. Because every day he was striving to get $200 or more. And he was doing it day after day after day after day. But I told him, and I even tweeted 2 days before he did this, this is the time when you stop. You stop, sit still, let the advancement, experience, the progress, the money that you've earned, let it find its way in you and relish it. Just really enjoy the fact that you did it. Let there be time between you hitting that $3,000 mark that was your goal. That's great. You got paid out $740. It was more money than he earns after taxes at his job. He's proven that he can do it. It can be done. He was following the model. But when the small little trivial things come in, these little tiny little, it's not enough. When you're on social media, you give it to the social media assholes. Feed the trolls, give attention to people, make it available, invite other people to give you their advice or criticism. There are always going to be some guy, this fucking, I read it this morning, I almost went off on him, tell me your son should have made more money than that. Get the fuck out of here. My fucking son next year is going to make your whole fucking lifetime of fucking money. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Okay? Believe me, I'm giving him Enigma. Okay? I'm giving it to him. I'm literally going to turn him into a fucking rock star. This motherfucker is going to be absolutely insane. Okay? He's showing me that he wants to do it now. That's all I needed. That's all I fucking needed. And now I have it. He's tasted it on his own effort with the least of what I have. The least of what I have. I'm giving him the whole fucking shebang. The whole fucking arsenal. I'm giving him everything. You will know this motherfucker. You will know his name and he will be recognized